So, good evening to all our viewers, and welcome to this week's weekly market presentation of SC Securities. So, after a volatile week full of breathtaking and sort of shocking news, we are here at the very end of the week, ended 15th July 2022, and we are expected to give you some insights regarding what happened throughout the week in Colombo Stock Exchange and also some highlights from the Sri Lankan economy and some information and news from the international, the global commodity market front and financial markets as well. So, as you all aware, for the time being, what happened during last Saturdays, that means 9th July, uh, the market headed to report sharp gains after a couple of weeks. So, thousands of peaceful protesters, despite the existing fuel shortage, was arrived were arrived to Colombo last Saturday in order to force the existing president and prime minister to step down from their positions. So, international media too brought up their attention regarding the incident that was happening last Saturday. And for now, with the time being, the Sri Lankan, the previous president was stepped down, officially resigned from his position, and the prime minister has now appointed as the acting president. So, with this change in the political regime, market reacted positively, especially the investor sentiment was improved to react positively, and with that we could have seen three trading sessions for the week ended up with positive gains. So during Monday's trading session, after the incident that was happened in last 9th July, the SPI gained above 200 points to close at 7,302.15, and the S&P SL 20 index also gained 92 points to close at 2,337.67. So the same trend could have been witnessed during Tuesday's trading session, but there was a slight decline due to the delay of president's resignation, and that caused some kind of a negativity to market to close at 7,318.24, but regained the traction back on Friday, and the SPI gained points over 149 to close for the week at around 7,467.82, whereas S&P 20 index for the week was closed at 2,400.17 with points up by 62. So if we have a slight look at the turnover levels for the week, turnover levels had a volatile session, both up and down. So the highest turnover for the week was recorded as 1.112 billion, and that was reported during Friday's trading session. So looking at the foreign purchases and sales for the week, the foreigners managed to report a net inflow of 0.83 million, that means close to 1 billion, after picking up foreign sales during Tuesday's trading session. But despite that, during the rest of the other three trading sessions, foreign purchases were picked up to report the said net inflow. So looking at the economic highlights for this week, so the external sector performance for the month ended May 2022 was released by Central Bank of Sri Lanka. And as of that, the merchandise exports for the month ended May 2022 reported a value of 1.04 billion, whereas imports stood at 1.45 billion for the month. So trade deficit for the month was just stood at 404 million, and that was a decline when we compare to the trade deficit that was of April 22, which was a value of 729 million. So looking at the year-on-year performance, the merchandise exports reported an increase of 17.5%, basically aiding from the rupee depreciation. And with the prevailing import restrictions, the year-on-year imports have declined by 9.7% to the 1.4 billion level from its previous 1.6 billion. And the imports further declined from the value of April 2022, which was previously stood at 1.69 billion, and merchandise exports also reported an increase on month basis. However, tourism earnings shows a decline when it compared to the value of 113 million in April to decline to report a value of just 54 million, but year on year basis tourism earnings to report a significant increase. But remittances on the other hand on year basis have significantly declined by over 33%, but anyhow remittances were slightly up from the value that was reported in April 2022. But anyhow, with the worker remittances for the month ended June was said to be declined to 274 million due to the relaxation of ban on open account transaction for 10 essential items has increased black market premiums for dollars. So with that, the worker remittances for the month ended June said to have declined. And the cumulative export up to May 2022 for the year was picked up to 5.26 billion, where the textile and garments were the major contributor. And imports also, the cumulative value is stood at 8.8 billion, and the trade deficit altogether stood at 3.53 billion. So for the month ended May 2022, the foreign exchange reserves recorded an amount of 1.9 billion, out of which 1.5 is directly attributable to a swap facility with China, and it is subjected to some conditions on usability. And apart from that, the tea exports for the first half of the year has said to have declined by 9% on volume wise, with a decline of 11.6 million kilograms. But anyhow, based on the value basis, it reported an increase of 28% year on year, reflecting a value of 164.2 million from the previous year's 127 million. That is basically owned by the rupee depreciation, and the volume loss was basically attributable to the crop loss owing to fertilizer shortage. And when we have a consideration on the top export tea destinations, Iraq was recorded to be the number one export destination with exports of 23.5 million kilograms, and that was followed by UAE and Russia. And if we have a look at the treasury yields for this week, treasury yields picked up to report massive yields. The 3-month yield picked up to 32.1%, and 6-month yield now is at 31.01%, and 12-month yield is now stand at 29.87%. So exchange rates, rupee was slightly depreciated against the US dollar, but anyhow managed to slightly appreciate against the rest of the three currencies we are considering here: Great Britain pounds, euro, and Japanese yen. So looking at the global commodity markets and the international financial markets, the commodities have declined due to the tensions over global economic slowdown weighed on demand, and especially the sanctions over Russian oil revealed a less impact on production than it was anticipated, and gold prices again headed for a weekly loss due to the ease of dollar. And the copper and aluminium prices too declined for the week, but anyhow it was reported from China that aluminium production from China has increased during the month of June. And especially when it comes to the fact of sanctions, the European Commission said to adopt 7th package of sanctions against Russia today, which will add a ban on Russian gold, so that can have a direct impact to the prices of gold. And dollar consolidated to near near a 2-decade high on Friday. So that's why the gold prices for the week has caused that kind of a decline. And when it comes to international market news, US inflation hits 9.1% in June on year basis, and that value is even more than anticipated. So that marked the fastest phase for inflation going back to November 1981, nearly in 41 years. So with the inflation in the US at levels not seen in 4 decades, market participants worry the Federal Reserve to deliver hefty rate hikes to tame the surge in prices, which, on the other hand, might push the economy into a recession. So, with these sort of news, majority of the world stocks have declined for the week, and Asian shares, majority of the Asian shares too reported losses on behalf of that reason, and coupled with the production and the economic slowdown in China. So, under these circumstances, it is expected and it is analyzed by majority of the participants as stocks with a greater level of international diversification and a sound financial structure are presumed to be inflation hedges. So, it is advisable for the investors to stick with stocks which have this kind of a potential. So, that is the basic things I got to share from my end. Here onward, Harin will continue the presentation.
Thank you, Sachini. So let's look at XAU-USD, which is gold. What has happened to the price during this week and where the price could actually head towards next. So the price is currently trading in between the daily support level 1700, 1710. The current price is 1704 and fluctuating as the market is still open. So looking at it, the RSI is quite in the oversold area below the level of 30, as we can see, which is considered as oversold at the moment. The price seems to be getting rejected from the level of 1700, which is also considered as a psychological area. And looking at the moving averages, of course, we can see the price is below the moving averages, and which indicates a strong bearish momentum. If the price sustains above the daily support level, we might be able to see it moving towards the daily resistance 1740, 1750, also testing the 8 moving average and the 18 moving average. So at the moment it is in the psychological area. If worst case scenario, we'll be able to see if it breaks the daily support level, the next daily support level of 1650, 1660 could be tested. So the price is still remains to be very bullish. We might be able to see some sort of lower high formations creating over the level of 1700 and 1750, and a consolidation could also happen if the price gets numerously rejected from the daily support level 1700, 1710. And if it breaks the daily support level, the next daily support level would be tested as next would be the 1650, 1660 level. If it gets rejected from the daily support level of 1700, 1710, the daily resistance level 1740, 1750 would be basically tested again. Looking at the all share index, so we had a somewhat of a bullish momentum from the ASPI. And on July 7th, we were able to see how it made a low of 7055.28 and made a rejection from that area close to 7000 region, which is also known as a psychological area again. So from that area, we had a pullback to the upside towards the daily resistance 1700 and 7450, 7500. So breaking this 7450, 7500 in the coming weeks, we'll be able to see it heading towards the 7694.64, which is also the high of June 24th, which is 7694.64. After reaching that level, we might be able to see the price coming to make a new low, which would be a higher low formation, and testing this this daily resistance would initially become daily support level by then. And if it successfully stays above the daily uh, support level of 7,500, when it becomes a daily support level, we might be able to see it going towards the daily resistance 8,000 being another psychological area. Worst case scenario, we'll be able to see if the price continues to get rejected from 7,500 region, it might come towards the July 7th low, which is 7,455.28 once again. So as of the moment, looking at the moving averages also, we can clearly see the price is actually, the index is actually trading above the moving averages as of the moment. And long as it is sustaining above the moving averages and about the daily resistance 7,500, we'll be able to see a bullish momentum carrying forward towards the 8,000 area after breaking the high of 7,694.64. The RSI comes to the mid-range, which is actually 48.48. It managed to close at that key level, also in the mid-range. Looking at our top pick of the week, which is Brown's Investments PLC, Bill, we were able to see how the price made a false breakout below the daily support level 6.777, being a psychological area again. From that false breakout, the price initially came above the level of 7, and now heading towards the level of daily resistance 8.3, 8.6 LKR. The RSI comes to the mid-range again, 52.2 once again. And if it sustains above the moving averages once again, which is 18 and 8 moving averages, we might be able to see a bullish momentum carrying forward here as well towards the daily resistance 8.3, 8.6. So soon as the market opens in the coming week, we might be able to see the price moving towards the 8.3, 8.6, that key level, as the price is actually trading above the 18 EMA and 8 EMA levels. Worst case scenario, if the price fails from the 8.3, 8.6, it could further consolidate in between the level of 6.7, 8.6, in between that key level. And breaking this daily resistance could initially bring the price upwards towards the daily resistance 10, 10.3 key area. So thank you. And I hope you all have a wonderful week.